Hello YouTube and welcome to this Bucket List Gamers Pack Rips video. I am Jay and I'm joined by Eddie.
Hello.
And we're here to talk about this lovely little care package that we've been sent from Ultra Pro. So ignore this because that's not actually what's in it. We've been sent this by Ultra Pro to look at some of their stuff because we use a lot of it for the stuff that we do. Nearly everything we use is Ultra Pro in some form or another to protect cards, the sleeves we use, the display cases we use, that kind of thing. And they sent us some new stuff to look through, some stuff that I've not seen before. Me and Jordan did record a video on this, but we recorded it in the wrong aspect ratio, so we're just going to go through it again, and this is all new to Eddie because he's not seen any of this before. So we'll start with, I think the most normal part of what we've been sent that we are actually familiar with, which is the good old premium top loaders. I use these all the time. I've had other brands and I don't think they're quite as good. They don't tend to be as rigid and easy to get things into, I think is my takeaway. They're either incredibly floppy and easy to get a card into, or they're incredibly rigid and you nearly have to bend it in half. Yeah,
that was going to be my thing. Because I order quite a lot of my individual cards and stuff off eBay. Other providers are available. Mine either come in similar to those, but they're taller.
Yeah.
And they're a lot more flexible and bendy, and they don't protect it quite as well as the Ultra Pro top loaders do. But again, I've been sent sort of knockoff top loaders, and they are so stiff.
Yeah.
That I've tried to sort of squeeze the sides together to get the card out, and it's snapped the plastic straight up the side. I've been like, oh, well, that's a little bit too rigid. So,
got one here, which I've already opened. And everyone knows what a top loader is. I wouldn't ever advise just putting a raw card that you're interested in a top loader like this. But because this is one that I have no interest in, whether it gets scuffed up. Just to demonstrate, give it a little knock. And nothing's happening to that card in there really, is it? Unless you really give it a good bend. And they seal relatively well as well along the top, I've found. So that is a nice way to keep them. Not always fit in binders, but I think Ultra Pro make binders specifically for top loaders to fit in now, don't they? As well?
I've got one for because I'm trying to collect the original Wizards of the Coast Pokemon, so like the ones from 1999. And they're all in top loaders because despite the fact that they're commons, they are old now.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to look after those, and it's a chunky binder.
Yeah.
It only holds 350 cards, but it's like 3 times the size of a standard Ultra Pro.
But speaking of sealing along the top here, that brings me on nicely to the next thing they've sent us, which is these things here, which I'd seen these before because I saw them when I met the guys from Ultra Pro at a convention. But I didn't realise they were on sale now, and they are card preserver sleeves. So a bit of a halfway house between your standard penny sleeve, your like top loader, and then the like display case ones that you can get. So they're a bit of everything really. So they're not quite as rigid as a top loader. They're not as flimsy as a penny sleeve, but then they also have this sort of flap and sticky section on the back. So if I grab another card, you can slide your card into there. Even in a penny sleeve, they do fit in these because we've tried that as well. And if you really want to keep it nice and safe and dust free and everything, you can peel this little strip off the back, press that down, and now you've essentially got a practically sealed unit with your favourite card in it, but that isn't in a huge bulky thing that doesn't take up too much space. Again, you'd have to have the top loader folder to fit these in, but I just think they're a nice little halfway, and they're also really good for keeping anything nasty out of there. So if you're sending them in the post or anything like that, I think this is a good option in a penny sleeve in here.
Yeah, I think that's probably a better option because a lot of people, when they send in top loaders, sellotape the top.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what they're trying to do, but the last thing I want to do is try and prize open the sellotape off the top of it and risk bending the top of the card, or end up with a card that's stuck to the sellotape.
Yeah.
That takes some of the foiling off.
Because when you're sliding it out, the tape's still there, or there's
Yeah.
some residue or something. So, speaking of penny sleeves, we've tried to segue this video together nicely. Got some easy grip sleeves. So everyone's familiar with penny sleeves. They're dirt cheap. Well, they're called penny sleeves. They're the lowest level of protection, but they offer enough for most cards, don't they? Your more low-end special cards, you put in these and then into a folder. These ones are slightly different because they've got this on the top. So you see there, the standard penny sleeves, it's really hard to see because they're see-through. But there's this sort of semicircle just on the top there. So if I've got a card, I can hold that and sort of peel it back, and it's dead easy to, he says, get the card in there. But then it's also really easy to get the card out because you can pull that back. But the other benefit to these, if I can get this one out of here without absolutely knackering it up, which I can. If you slide these into here, so say you're sending them for grading and they want them in a top loader or a semi-rigid. Normally a lot of people stick the little post-it note tabs on so you can pull them back out. Whereas with these, once you've got that in there, you don't need to, because you've got this little tiny flap at the top and you can just pull it straight back out again. So they're really useful for sending away for grading, but they're also quite useful as well if you want them in a ETB box. If you've got all your cards lined up, you can very easily grab one and pull it up without having to touch the card, rifle through them with your finger and knacker the corners or scuff the edges. You've got that option to literally just pull them up. So I think they're really, it's something that you wouldn't think would make much of a difference, but then you start using them, you're actually like, that little semicircle of plastic is so useful. And you can just fold it down to put into a folder or slide it into a little folder there. You can fold that down and it stays out of the way. So I think they are a really nice little update to something that already works quite well.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're much more expensive either than the standard penny sleeves.
They're also handy for sort of penny sleeving up if you're putting them in standard sleeves for tournament play.
Yeah.
Because you'll be able to just slightly bow the edge of your tournament sleeves and use that to take the card out. You're double sleeving, which a lot of people in tournament play actually do. They double sleeve their cards because you're handling them, your opponent's handling them when they have to cut your deck. But then when it comes to the end of tournament play and you want to put everything back in its folder nice and neat, you're not having to try and get your fingers into a sleeve and rag the sleeve to bits, and two, damage the edge of your card. So I think they're a great introduction.
I think that's the thing, because you saw me trying to get that other card out of here. As good as the Ultra Pro ones are, you still sort of have to pinch, get your hand in, and touch the card and pull it out. Whereas with these, you just don't. And it's out. So really nice addition. They also sent me, us this, although I'm keeping it because it's incredibly nice, which almost doesn't fit on the screen, but it is a Lucario deck box, leather deck box, and it's just gorgeous. Like, they do a Charizard as well, and I just think they're so nice, like really sturdy lined. You've got this like matte Lucario and then the energies and the Pokeballs on the top there, and it's just a really nice thing. It's chunky, isn't it? It weighs a lot, but not too much that you wouldn't, even full of cards, it wouldn't be too heavy. And I just think to protect your deck in there, you can't really go wrong with that. And not that expensive either. When I had a look at these, I thought these were going to be like 40-50 quid, and I think they're around the 20-25 mark. So yeah, the Charizard one, obviously red with the cutout on the front, but a really nice thing. And if I was into actually going and playing, my deck would be straight in there. I think I'm probably going to commit sacrilege and put a Lorcana deck in it, because I play that more than I do Pokemon. I'm more of a collector of Pokemon. But yeah, I can't get over how nice that is.
And it's big enough not just for a tournament deck, but your dice, your counters, everything like that, you can just chuck in the front as well. So it's not just deck size, it's big enough to take all your battling paraphernalia with you. And
then finally, we come on to what I think is probably the nicest thing, which are these one touch and stand. So I've seen these before, but without the stands. I've seen other brands do these, and they don't always hold together particularly well. One magnet, which is the same as these, but I've had ones where you touch them and the front pops off. These ones are, let me just grab one from over here, because I do have one to the side of me. So let's show these off. Slide it up there. So they come all individually sealed, so they're not all scratched or scuffed up from where they've been in the bag. And they're essentially a way to slab your cards without sending them off to be graded, which I think is a really nice thing. So you pop the front off, he says, which is actually a lot easier than I'm making it look. And it slides out of these two little tabs. I've got it backwards, that's why it wasn't going well. And then you pop your card in here. So if we take a card from in there, sleeves do fit in, but they do make it a little bit trickier. You can still close them with a sleeve, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one unsleeved just to show you exactly how it looks, because these will offer enough protection that you probably don't need it sleeved. I mean, if it's a very expensive card, you probably want it in a perfect fit. Yeah. But you can slide that in there, take this, line those two tabs up with the bottom. Here it snaps shut, and you've essentially got yourself a slabbed card without a grading on it. But then the really nice thing is they all come with one of these as well, which I don't know if you've ever bought the Charizard promo box where you got the slab in it,
as well as the Shining Fates one, because they get that was a 3.
Yeah, but that came with like a plastic tray,
yeah,
which was horrible.
Yeah.
Whereas these come with this little, it does say Ultra Pro on it, but that is the back, I think. Yeah. So you can stand your card in there, and I appreciate we're looking downwards rather than straight on. But when you have it, it's sort of got a little bit of a lean, and it's just a really nice way to display your favourite cards. You can have them all lined up with these little stands. And yeah, I just think it's really nice. They've gone to the effort of putting the branding on the back, so you don't have to have the branding face out, yeah, showing, which I think is something a lot of companies don't do. A lot of companies are keen to throw it in your face that, yeah, it's their brand. I think I watched a video where somebody was opening the like Netflix advent calendar. I don't know if you saw, they'd done one of those this year, and you got a Witcher sword letter opener, and they printed the trademark and stuff down the front of the blade, which
what you don't want.
Yeah, so at least Ultra Pro have put their branding on the back, so you know it's a quality product, but it's not in your face when it's on display. And I just think these are so cool to get like a pack of 5 of them and just put your favorite cards in them, stick them on the base, or don't stick them on the base if you've got a better way to display them, because you can buy wall mounted things that slabs fit in as well,
briefcases and stuff like that, the padded ones, yeah, that usually have the grooves cut out for stuff like that, basically.
So if you don't want to go to the expense of grading your cards, or you're slowly working your way through them because you haven't got 10 grand to send your whole collection off, but you want to offer them a bit more protection where they're stored, I think these are really nice, and I think they're a good quality product. But yeah, that's the last thing we've got to show. But thank you to Ultra Pro. Just before, I don't know if I said it earlier on, but really thank you for sending us this stuff, because as I say, we only really use Ultra Pro stuff, and the amount of those penny sleeves they sent will keep us going forever. So it was really nice to receive, and we're always happy to talk about Ultra Pro stuff, because it is, I don't think, it's unmatched quality, isn't it?
They have pretty much cornered the market. I think that's probably why they're confident enough to put the logo on the back.
Yeah.
Because they know if you need card storage solutions, you're going to Ultra Pro, unless it's bespoke.
Yeah. I think the only other company I've used are Vault X, and that's only because one of the binders had more pages in. But then I found an Ultra Pro that had the same amount, so if I'd have found that first, I would have gone that way. But yeah, I think as well as the fact that they've also got the Pokemon license, so they can do things like the Lucario deck box, like the Charizard deck box and folders. I just think they're unmatched, and I know that probably sounds like we're saying that because they sent us a load of free stuff, but actually we used them way before I even met them when we went to the convention. So yeah, I would always recommend going Ultra Pro, and just the innovation level, stuff like the little half moon on the top of that. makes so much difference. The little sort of display type sealed,
semi-rigid.
and I didn't actually mention, you can, once they're in there, that's not it. You can peel this open and there's no stickiness on there at all. So you take your card out, that's still sticky enough that you can put something else in, touch it, and it's back together again. So you can reuse these as well. So yeah, I think that's all I've got to say. But once again, thank you to Ultra Pro, and we'll be doing more card related videos very soon. But until then, that's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from me.